Hey guys, in today's video, we're going to talk about easy sewing projects for beginners. Stay tuned. Honestly, this has turned into a 6-part series right now. This is video number 5 of how to begin your sewing in 2025. So if you want to see the full playlist, check it in the description box. All right, welcome to another video. Today we're talking about easy sewing projects for beginner sewists. Starting your sewing journey can be very intimidating. You have so many choices to make and so many things to do. You can start with your sewing machine, which one to get. Then you go to your sewing tools, and now we're at the sewing project, okay? Sewing projects clearly have a scale of difficulty. You can go from super easy to super hard to even couture things. That's a whole nother level. Probably never getting into that in here, okay? But there is a range of things you can do, a range of things that you can try, and choosing one gets intimidating, especially when you don't know anything about sewing and what constitutes an easy project and what constitutes a difficult project. It's hard to choose a project that's accomplishable to you if you don't have all the information or the knowledge it takes to sew. And then when you choose a project and let's say it's very difficult or too difficult for the level that you're at, it can be really discouraging. Like, you're in it, you're very positive from the beginning, but you get to areas where you have a lot of questions and you don't know what to do, and you start to attend YouTube University and your questions aren't being answered, and you start to feel discouraged. You start to feel, why am I doing this? What's the purpose of this? I don't know how to do this. I'm never gonna learn. And that self-doubt list starts to build, and then you quit the hobby. And that's not what we want here. So we're gonna talk about that today. And I'm also gonna share a few easy projects for you to do and talk about my first project. So before we get into the list of project recommendations, I want to talk about why I chose these things for you. They don't require many items. They don't require many notions for you to get in order for you to sew them together. It's very basic. Projects that require a lot from the beginning, again, very intimidating. You don't know what you're getting, what you're buying. So I didn't want to send you to the store or online shopping going for a lot of extra when you don't need that to learn how to sew. With all these projects, to learn how to sew. Being low lift means you don't need a lot of different fabrications. You don't need a lot of fabric notions like buttons and zippers and things of that nature. It's very easy to get your basic fabric. Maybe you need interfacing and thread for the project, and that's it. Try to avoid zippers and buttons because those have their own level of difficulties, and I don't think you should just jump in and do projects with those, okay? So all of these are very simple, easy to sew. They have low or no to manipulation, and by manipulation I mean seam lines, gathers, just style lines, things like that. So very simple, very easy. Next reason is because I want to help build your confidence in front of your machine. The only way you can get comfortable with your machine and how to use it and know seam allowance without looking and, just autopilot. The only way you can go autopilot on your sewing machine is through practice and through repetition. These small, easy projects help you get there. It's a start. It builds the momentum for you to do more. Right now you're learning the buttons and you're learning the knobs and you're learning what goes up and what goes down and all that jazz. So you're getting the practice there, but again, not on something difficult, okay? This is just getting you comfortable and in control in front of your own machine. Next is because sometimes we need those quick wins. We're just now starting. You need that encouragement, you need that joy, you need that, I don't want to say melatonin. What is it? What's that happy hormone? That's what you need. You need that right now, okay? Doing a small, easy project is the best way to get it, at least for me. You start the project, you finish the project, hopefully in the same day in a couple hours, and you have the finished project in your hand and you feel so proud about yourself. You feel proud in what you did and what you accomplished, and you feel like you can do it again. And that's what we want. We want you to feel like, I can do this again. This is maybe a challenge, but an attainable challenge. This is something I can continue to work at and build and grow in. Now, lastly, recommendations for beginners usually start with accessories, and we will cover that on this list, but I've added things onto the list that are clothing, because if you want to learn how to sew and you want to sew clothes, you may want to start with clothes, okay? You don't want to waste your time, which is a myth. You can't waste your time. You can check out this video where I talk about time and sewing, which is a myth. You can't waste your time, but I've talked about time and sewing here, so you can check that video out. But you don't want to feel like you're wasting your time or using it to make things that you're probably not going to use or look at and things like that. So I've recommended clothes along with accessories on this list. I'll give you a little bit of a bigger range to choose from. The first item on the list is a scrunchie. A scrunchie are the things, you know, you put in your hair, put a ponytail. Now you can make them small and skinny, or you can make them big and fluffy. Either way is cool, good, a little trendy. And the reason why I have scrunchie on this list is because it will honestly take you maybe 2 hours tops if you're starting. It doesn't take a lot of fabric, so it'll be very easy to accomplish. Yes, you can get yardage, but you can also repurpose or reuse a shirt maybe that you're not using anymore. You can thrift something small, maybe a baby shirt or something to start with. That way it's a low cost entry. So for a scrunchie, you're gonna need a main fabric and elastic. The main fabric, you don't need a lot of. You don't even need a whole yard. You don't even need a quarter of a yard, honestly. You can buy yardage, yes, that is perfectly fine, but you can also start with a shirt or something that you're not wearing anymore that you want to reduce, reuse, and recycle. You can thrift a shirt, maybe it's a baby shirt, something like that. And the reason why this is on the list is because, one, it's very small, very cost effective. You don't have to pay a lot to do it. And it gets you behind your machine again, starts to get you comfortable with it, okay? I'm also gonna do my best to provide some options for you where you can download or purchase from me or any other patterns that are available. Maybe they're big 5 or maybe they're indie. So throughout the list, look out for those and check the description box. If you wanna start your sewing journey with the scrunchie, I do have a tutorial available for that. You can find that in the description box. Next item we're gonna tap into is a tote bag, okay? These are bags that you carry miscellaneous things in throughout the day. Maybe you can use them for shopping. Maybe you can use them for school, carry your notebooks. Maybe you can just use them for any random thing, okay? The reason why a tote bag is on this list is because, so they don't require much. You need your main fabric, maybe some interfacing, and again, that's it, okay? So a tote bag, again, very easy, very low lift. You're going to work on straight stitches. You have a possibility to learn a little bit more of technique with the tote bag, okay? Maybe there's a lining added, so a second type of fabric, which is okay. You learn a little bit more using a lining. You learn how to put a lining in. Yes, you can put closures on it, like a magnet button or a zipper and all that, but we're not going that far. We don't need that right now, okay? You'll do some understitching, maybe some darts. Darts would give it like a little 3D or like a little depth within the bag. And enclosed darts are used for curves. So underneath your bust, it helps create the curve of the body. So tote bags have the opportunity to offer you a little bit more in technique. In my shop, I do have PDF bags available. My favorite is the Accrue. There is some manipulation with the Accrue tote. It has this gather on the outside, which honestly is what makes it, but it is attainable, it is doable. All it is shearing, so again, another technique you can learn, and you basically use it for volume, big sleeves, skirts that go out, a lot of volume, a lot of fabric. The next easy item you can start making today is a bucket hat, okay? Bucket hat, I'm talking 1980s, the one that goes over. You can't do anything with this because I have a puff, but it's the hat, kind of flares out a little bit. Small amount to get into, half a yard of fabric maybe. So again, you can use recycled shirt or something that you're not wearing, blanket or denim jeans that you're not wearing. That'd be a good way to recycle them. Or you can go to a thrift store, get some jeans or bed sheets, something like that to make it out of. This, all you need is your self fabric, a lining fabric. With all these, you need thread. I'm not going to say thread, but you need thread, all right? Possibly interfacing, you really don't need it, okay? So you have maybe 2 fabrics, thread, and your sewing machine. With all these, you need your sewing machine too. I mean, I'm not going to say that. But this is where we start to get into the wearable things. You can wear the hat. The reason why it's on this list is because it doesn't necessarily require a specific fit. Yes, heads are different sizes, but you don't need it to fit tightly or fit snugly, okay? It has a little bit of forgiveness for you if you do something wrong or incorrect, which is fine. We like a little forgiveness, okay? As for pattern recommendations, next week I'm actually gonna do a sew with me video, sewing a bucket hat. So make sure you subscribe to the channel and you click the bell so you get the notification when the video drops and we can sew a bucket hat together, okay? Okay, all right. Now we are going to get into the clothing part. So those were all 3 accessories: scrunchie, bucket hat, and tote bag, 3 accessories. Now we're gonna get into the clothing. So the first clothing I'm gonna start with is pajama pants, okay? Pajama pants, we know they're comfortable, we like to lounge around, and we don't have to worry about fit all that much. You do want them to fit on your waist and, you know, around the curve of your butt, but other than that, they're very forgiving, okay? So with pajamas, all you need is the main fabric and elastic, kind of like the scrunchie. So you're gonna need more fabric for the pajamas than you will for the scrunchie, but it's essentially a larger scale of that project, I guess. That is probably a bad way to put it, but that's how I'm putting it, okay? So pajama pants, you get your flannel fabric or a comfortable soft fabric. You'll roll the top of the pant for the waistband, and then you'll feed the elastic through. And again, very easy, low lift. You can do this in a day probably. And the good thing about them being pajama pants is that you can stay home. They're meant to be at home. So say something doesn't come out right, it doesn't fit right, something where the expectation didn't occur, you can still lounge around them in the house. No one is here to judge you in your house. If you're comfortable, that's all that matters, okay? So lounge around in your pants, be happy, look at what you made, enjoy it. Kind of in the same vein, we are going to do a hoodie and sweatpants. I'm lumping these together because we love a set, okay? So for both of these, you'll need one fabric, a fleece. So in my heart of hearts, I kind of want to do a blanket fabric, but that's on a whole other day. You'll need fleece, a nice, soft, comfortable fleece for you. And the reason why this is on the list is because soft and comfortable, and we love that, but also, again, very forgiving. Your hoodie, your sweatpants, a little oversized. We don't need a tight fit there, but also it'll help tap you into the knit category, okay? Using knit fabric. You're gonna do this, you're gonna wanna use zigzag seams on the stitch. And some machines do have finishing stitches, so make sure you read your manual and check on that. But hoodies are very easy, very low lift. You have maybe a few seams. Pants, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7-ish, including hem. Hoodies are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe about 10, 11 if you do the kanga pocket in front, okay? Let's make that 13. Around 13, because I count out the cuffs. Around 13 stitches, seams to get you through. Okay. I'm sorry, in my head I just calculated about 15. It doesn't matter, okay? It doesn't matter how many seams. The point is that they're easy seams and it's easy for you to complete in a day or two, all right? So you'll have a very nice matching set that you can rock out. Skims what? I mean, it's all you, it's custom, so you'll be happy and proud about it. So just a reminder, with all these projects, there is a list in the description box that you can tap into and download. A list of patterns from Big Five, from myself from the shop, and from other indie designers. There's a range of things you can choose from. Again, all of it is trying to keep it very easy, low lift for you. Next item on this list is a sheared skirt. No, it's not. Next item on this list is a skirt, okay? Skirts, like everything else, has a range of difficulty, okay? You can do your basic A-line skirt. You can do skirts with a lot of style lines, a lot of gathers, a lot of volume, a lot of stretch, just options galore. We're not going to start with that, clearly, okay? We're going to start with your basic A-line skirt, get you good on doing hems. And, you know, maybe we have a closure, maybe we have a zipper in there at this point, okay? You've done all the other projects already. We've built our confidence. We know how to use our machine. Now let's tap into using closures, okay? If you aren't ready for worried about fit on your body, go for the elastic waistband, okay? Other than that, skirt is a good way to start getting into waistbands, figuring out how to construct buttonholes, adding buttons and adding zippers, okay? So we've progressed. We've come a long way, all right? So skirt, definitely a good option for beginners. So skirt is actually the first project that we made in college. Beyond like the basic block, we had to do a basic bodice and a basic skirt. So beyond that, it is the first project that we did in college. We had to manipulate it or design it, and somehow we start with the basic skirt, with the basic block skirt, which is just the basic silhouette of a skirt, and we had to customize it. So I added pockets and I put a little flare at the bottom. It had a zipper closure, so it was very cute, and if I can find a picture, I'll definitely put it here. But the purpose is it was an easy project to start off with. So again, here, skirt is something very easy, very attainable to start off with. And you can wear it. You get that joy, that oxytocin. Is that what it is? I think so. That oxytocin at the end. So let's recap. On that list, we had scrunchies, tote bags, bucket hats, pajama pants, hoodie and sweatshirt, and a skirt. Now that you have your list of recommendations for beginner-friendly sewing projects, you can download that list in the description, or we can talk about my first sewing projects, okay? My first sewing project that was not with a sewing machine was actually a denim pouch. I made this in the back of a car we were on our way to Vegas and I needed something to occupy my time for the whole time. I was first time driving to Vegas. I didn't know how long it would be, but I'm quite sure someone told me it would be a long time. It was a pants to a denim leg, and I made a pouch out of it. So I sewed the bottom of it and I folded the top to add a tunnel. And in that tunnel, I used a fat shoelace for the draw cord. It was a light blue fat shoelace. I used it for the draw cord, you know, to hold everything, to close the bag. And I put a plastic window. Okay, so do you know the wallets, like the folding wallets, and how they have the ID card that you can put in there? I think it had fallen off or was coming off of a wallet. So I took that and I hand stitched that onto the denim bag. Now it is leather or polyurethane, whatever, and I'm hand stitching that onto a denim bag. And I'm quite sure my hand was tired or sore afterwards because it was a lot to go through. But I finished the bag. One, I don't know how long it lasted or how strong it was. Chances are probably not very strong because I knew nothing about back stitching and all that. So I'm sure it did what it needed to do at that time when it was asked to do it. And I'm sure it broke, and it's probably why I don't have it anymore. That's not why I don't have it. I don't have it because I don't keep things. But I do keep things, but I also need to purge. Anyway, that was my first sewing project ever. My first sewing project was a 1950s red circle skirt. It was actually for Halloween. I was going as a 1950s girl. I don't know why I was doing that. Honestly, it was probably because of Grease. I don't know if that's when I first found the movie Grease, but Grease is one of my favorite movies. I was not dressing up as a pink lady or anything. I just did the 1950s skirt. It was a poodle skirt. That one I learned about appliques. I had to applique the poodle. Poodle was trash, okay? If you don't know applique, you have to top stitch, which means stitch next to the edge of the piece. And poodles, it had curves, it had corners, and this is my first time doing it. Now I think I know I could do it a lot better, but I didn't know how to turn things in the machine. Have never top stitched anything in my life before that. So definitely a big learning curve. I had a bunch of gathers and overlapped areas on that poodle, but that's okay. It also had a buttonhole. It was my first buttonhole. My first waistband. I know I messed up my waistband just in the order of sewing, and I had a zipper. So all of those, I really did that for my first project. Also, my mom was there. My mom was there to help me. So she helped, guided, walked me through. Definitely bit off more than I could chew probably at that time, but I did have my mom's help. She knew how to sew basic stuff also. So there's that, okay? She actually helped me cut it out and sew it so I wasn't just going in this blindly, okay? And I also had like, you know, that non-inhibition of a kid, like kids think they can do anything and take over the world. I had that, so I didn't have any insecurities plaguing me about sewing. The world hadn't crashed down on my creativity yet at that moment, okay? After the skirt, I started tapping into things that I would actually wear on a regular basis, and then after the skirt, I started to tap into things that I would actually wear, which is basically t-shirts and knits. At that time, early decade thousands, whatever, we were into fitted things, so that's what I gravitated towards. I do remember a pattern that I had that I know I never finished. It was a knit top, a little flare at the sleeve, but I know I never finished that. And I know because I don't want to say it haunts me, but I just remember not finishing it. Like, I'm not staying up late at night wondering why didn't I finish that project. I just know it didn't, because it stayed under my bed, and like, you know, I had to move things and all that. So I remember not doing that and having to move it out the way a lot. So I made this. Was this from that pattern? It couldn't have been. I don't know if this was from that pattern, honestly, but it is like a black sweater knit turtleneck. I made it short sleeve because I was running out of fabric I got from the San Fernando swap meet at the time. And yeah, it was very low lift, very easy. I want to say the neck, I didn't have that right. I want to say I used a straight stitch for the neck, so it was very difficult to get on, and so it probably didn't survive a lot of wear and tear there also. But it looked good. I was cute, you know, style with the belt across. That was a trend. That was a decision we did, and yeah, loved it. Loved it. I did wear this a few times. I did. The projects that really helped build my confidence in sewing, and honestly even pattern making, is tote bags. Okay, I used to make them for me, and then I made them for my bestest. Sometimes we had a matching one, okay, because we were dorks and nerds, and that's fine. We weren't dorks and nerds. I just made a bag. She wanted a bag. I had the fabric. We matched. Okay, it's fine. I started making tote bags, and this is where I actually started doing my own patterning. Like, I'd create the shape of the tote bag. I started playing with depth, how to not add curve, but you know, like how to make the depth of the bag so I could fit my books and all my school stuff in it. How the pattern is not the finished size. You have to add seam allowance to patterns. So tote bags is where I really started to play around. I got comfortable with my top stitches. We used interfacing. We got straight stitches. Yeah, I owe a lot to tote bags. I do. Anyways, thank you for joining me for this video. I really do hope it helped. I hope these suggestions helped. Thanks for walking down memory lane with me. And in the description, again, there's a list of pattern recommendations from myself, Big Five, and other indie designers that you can check out. You can also check out this playlist, which is Learning to Sew in 2025. We go through you learning to sew, the process. We go through how to choose your machine and all that jazz. So tap into that. Until next time, guys, keep designing your best life. Bye.